modern science, medicine, political freedom, and the market economy. All of them, we are told, are a result of a sort of miracle that took place 250 years ago. That miracle is called the Enlightenment, a moment in history when philosophers suddenly overthrew religious dogma and traditions and replaced it with human reason. Broadly speaking, the Enlightenment was an intellectual and philosophical movement largely based in Europe that spanned about a century from the mid-late 1600s to the late 1700s. It was a time of major intellectual upheaval characterized by the rise of reason and scientific method as tools for understanding the world and bringing about progress. Prior to the Enlightenment, Europe was dominated by religious and political absolutism. But the ideas that emerged during the Enlightenment represented a totally new way of thinking about rights, freedom, liberty, justice, and government, and directly challenged the absolute power of the monarchs and the church. As a result, many Enlightenment thinkers had their works banned by governments and church leaders because of the radical ideas they advocated. Ideas that would ultimately lay the foundation of the liberal democratic institutions, including impartial courts and the rule of law, democratically elected governments, separation of church and state, equality for all people, freedom of speech and freedom of religion, just to name a few.
The Age of Enlightenment is preceded by the Scientific Revolution. The Scientific Revolution provided the public with easy availability of logical ideas. Nicholas Copernicus and Galileo proposed the heliocentric model of the universe that suggested that the earth revolves around the sun. This challenged the conventional Christian belief of geocentrism prevailing at that time, according to which the sun is the center of the universe. This contradiction between science and religion developed a new change in people's thought patterns and reasoning. They started highlighting the importance of empirical beliefs, calculations, and the structures, rather than biblical revelations. They preferred logic over religion and rebelled against the church, making science the new god.
The Enlightenment inspired a progressive outlook where social critics expressed their ideas about how they thought the society could be improved. Following the Enlightenment, Europeans had a more secular or non-religious outlook. People no longer completely relied on getting all their information from the Catholic Church. Instead, they looked to logic and reason to prove the truth. Enlightenment thinkers called for governmental reforms and greater equality, including for women and the various socioeconomic classes. Education throughout Europe vastly improved, causing surging improvement in literacy. Finally, Enlightenment inspired revolutions for change. One by the American colonists against Great Britain, and the other by French commoners who grew sick of having no voice in the government and living in poverty, while the wealthy lived in extravagance. The Enlightenment, like the Scientific Revolution, taught people to doubt what they were told by the authority and to test things out for themselves. Hence, revolution was inevitable.